This is a painting called Swamp. Making this painting was an exercise for me to address my fear of drawing trees. My stylization has typically been very flat and simplified, and this lends itself well to the rocky and deserty landscapes I'd been painting for the past few years. But for this piece, I really wanted to pay homage to this wetland I like to go to, which I call the swamp. It's such a lush and textured place. It was a challenge for me to translate my style into a more layered and textured type of environment. I'm in love with the swamp. Every time I go there, I compulsively photograph it. I have photos from all seasons, and sometimes I see really amazing things happening there. One time I was there alone, walking through the bramble, and I came around a bend in the path, and right in front of me was a woman standing there, embracing and kissing a tree. It was such an intimate moment. I barely had time to process it at the pace I was walking. The woman pulled away really quickly, like I was definitely interrupting something, but I just grinned at them and then kept going. I kind of felt bad, but it's just amazing things like this that happen there at the swamp. And I see so much wildlife there too. I've seen a coyote, an owl, a turtle, an egret, a raccoon. And it's like in the middle of the city, by the way. It's so quiet though, and it feels very far away. It's like there's like a rip in space time, and this place is another dimension or something. One of the features of the swamp is a fish ladder, which is cool because it just looks like a regular set of stairs that always has a river of water gushing down it. It made me envision a park where instead of paved paths, it's like shallow canals of water you wade through. And it's like flanked by riverbanks and enveloped by trees hanging over. And you can roll up your pant legs and wade through the water or sit on a bench and just swirl your feet around in the water. And I was imagining there being like architectural elements too, like cement archways and fountains. I was inspired by this picture of Parc Monceau in Paris. So, in order to tackle the project of painting greenery without making it look like this, I decided I'd make my painting set at nighttime. There's that level of like 90% darkness where the sky isn't all the way black yet. It's still dark blue, but you can see the black silhouettes of trees against the dark blue. And it looks so good, and it's like flat and only two colors. So I did that, and then in the foreground, I added in these bare trees with like the Spanish moss hanging from them. And since they're closer to the foreground, I made them slightly lighter in color. And this was tricky for me to figure out. I studied illustration in school, but I didn't have too much formal painting instruction. I never really learned about shadows or underpainting or anything like that. So it's been a process for me to be able to convey a mood through color and form and shadows and framing and things. I wanted this scene to feel very enveloped and serene, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. But I think maybe, if anything, I left a little too much of the sky showing. Like, it's still a little sparse on the top. I guess I only had it in me to paint like eight trees. um, there's a Nicholas Roeg movie called Walkabout that uses the landscape to convey the mood in such a dramatic way that I really like. The story is set in the wilderness in Australia, and it's basically a survival story about these two siblings and a boy they meet. They're in the same landscape for the whole movie, but the emotional highs and lows of the story are mirrored in the way the landscape is shot. So the same trees that act as a protective haven for them in one scene are made to look menacing and jagged against this red sand in the next scene. It's amazing. At the moment, I am totally obsessed with this ultramarine blue paint that I used for the sky. It's so blue that I actually feel a change happen in my eyes when I look at it. It's like they're like stretching to be able to see and just take in how blue it is. Um, Also, years ago, I went to this pigment store in New York. It's for people who make their own screen printing inks and I think like make their own colored glass. and things like that. But the jars of pure color pigment themselves are such amazing objects. Like they feel so charged. So I bought this jar of ultramarine blue pigment and just to have it because it's an amazing object. And a few times a year, I'll just open it and like gaze into it. And it's that same feeling like my eyes are like stretching to be able to take in all of its blueness. It's the bluest of blues. It's like intoxicating. The last thing I'll mention about this painting, which I talked about in a previous video, was that in my work, sometimes I like to decenter humans as the focal point of the scene or like as the protagonist. Um, I wanted this one to just be about the landscape, but I thought I would include some people and animals around the border as decoration, um, like they're sculpted into the cement columns. One part I like is in the cement column, there's a dog indulging in a cry, and the tears are dripping down into the pool of water. Here's the full thing once again. I hope you find this painting to feel solitary and moody and watery because that's what I was going for. I think it feels that way to me. Thank you for watching.